Hey everybody, welcome back to Destination Kayak. So we're kind of back in it. Not sure how consistent, but we're going to keep going at this. Sorry for the kind of hiatus there. Life kind of gets in the way sometimes on the road. It was kind of hard to keep a consistent schedule here, but glad to see you guys here back. We got our first guest in a while here. So our next guests are the duo behind Southwest Indiana Outdoors. Again, we've kind of chatted kind of back and forth for quite a while now and kind of trying to make this work. Glad to have them on here. So Chase and his wife, going to go ahead and bring them on here. And I'm going to unmute you here. So, so how do you say your name again? Is it Calah?
Calah.
It's Calah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
It's a lot more simple than it looks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My dad just liked being really mean to me from the beginning. So
Well,
he just doesn't have the teacher blood in him. That was my first thought was Calah.
yeah. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, I can see that. But.
Yeah. It's a unique Calah.
Yes.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with being unique. So, first of all, tell us a little bit about yourselves there.
All right. So, number one, we're parents of 4, so life is wild, and I'm throwing that in there first because there is always the chance of a knock on the door just a few feet away from us, and kids saying they really want a snack right now.
Okay.
You know, we have to put a sign up on the door saying podcast live.
Okay.
So parents, and then we absolutely love kayak fishing. I got into kayak fishing back in 2020. Just started kind of messing around with it then. She started kayaking before I started, as a matter of fact. And she had zero desire to do any fishing.
No, I thought it was crazy.
She enjoyed the kayak side of things, but she was like, yeah, there's no reason to add fishing into it. So I started kayak fishing. I fell in love with it. Bought my first kayak in 2021, early 2021, and just kind of went all in. Had a blast from it. At that point, I was just fishing for literally anything that bit, throwing an ultralight with a little crappie jig, and whatever would bite, that's what I was bringing in the kayak. So I was having a blast with it. And then last year, I'd been trying to get her to join me for a while. Last year, she finally decided to join me, and she fell in love with it as well.
Yeah. No pun intended, but it was literally the first time and I was absolutely hooked. Like I was ready. I didn't want to get off the water that day when I finally went out. I did not want to get off the water, and we were loading up and I was like, well, when can we go again? So I've been hooked ever since the very first time I got to go out there.
Awesome. So, so Calah, so when you got into it, what did you like the most about it?
It's so hard to explain. First of all, it was peaceful. Like I said, mom of 4. So just like absolute peace on the water. Nobody's knocking on the door asking for a snack out there. So, I love that aspect of it. And then just like when I started catching them and like figuring that out, it's just like a huge, I don't know. It's like this big old mystery. You go out there, you got to figure out what they're biting on that day, what color they want and all that stuff. And I loved that. And I got really lucky the first year and caught some really nice fish, and you get your hands on one of those big beauties and you're just like, yeah, okay, this is it. Like it's just so much, it's the thrill of it and the piece of it all at the same time.
Nice. Yeah, Melissa says that's okay, Calah. I like my snacks and audiobooks on the water. Fishing comes after that.
I pack snacks too, don't worry.
Yeah. So, and I'll let her talk about this, but like that was kind of how she started. She was a paddleboarder before, so her being out on the water was already a passion of hers. And then we both got kayaks, and we got some good kayaks, and we got on the water, and literally, I didn't bring a fishing pole the first time, but like the second time, which was like the next day.
No, you brought it the first time.
Did it? I mean, it may have been, but like it was extremely high water that year, and we were literally floating over the access signs to the lake there. So, like we were just exploring, and I'm like, So I just, I'm throwing a lure around and didn't catch anything that first time because, like I said, it's a new body of water, knew everything, and we were just kind of happy to be out there. And of course, I was managing the kayak shop at the time, so like we're starting to try new kayaks, and this was in 2020. It was, again, at the time we were pretty much the largest brick and mortar kayak shop, and we were getting kayaks that nobody else could, but we still couldn't get what we needed. Like we would have people coming in wanting stuff that we weren't getting yet, and we were having customers help us unload the trucks into their truck. Like we were selling stuff we hadn't even got yet. And so we finally got a New Canoe Frontier 12. And like, I'm seeing the swivel seat on there. I'm seeing this big wide kayak, open space. And I was telling her, I was like, whoa, like there's a level of fishing kayaks that I didn't even know existed at the time. I just seen them on YouTube and stuff. And then when we kind of got into our our first actual fishing kayaks, she wanted to try it out because she was kind of getting a little bored. She wanted to sightsee, and and then she caught her first fish, which was a good largemouth. And I was kind of around the bend, and then I just heard her yell for help.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
I'm sitting there, I was like, catch a fish, no clue what I do next.
And then when she yelled, I was like, I knew exactly what she did. I'm like, yes, because my biggest fear was, we're out there for a few hours. She didn't catch anything. She gives up quickly. And then we're back to being bored and, just wanting to see the sights. But, you guys know as much as we do, getting out there and fishing, it can be a grind sometimes. You're going to be out there for long periods of time. And if you don't love the fishing, it can really, like 8-year-old me out there on the water for 10 hours while, dad and mom are trying to catch fish. Like, I got other things I want to do, especially if I'm not catching anything.
Snacks help with that.
Snacks,
exactly. My Coke Zero. That's when I pull out a Coke Zero and take a break.
So, what's your go-to snacks?
I like to take either Cheez-Its. I'm so juvenile because I have kids, so I'm grabbing their snacks to take them out on the things. I'm grabbing Cheez-Its or Goldfish and Ritz crackers and throwing that in the bag. And then if we're actually out for a full day, then I grab some protein shakes and stuff to throw in there. But mainly it's just some Cheez-Its and stuff.
So I'm going to throw in on that because I'm the Goldfish cracker girl. We don't have young kids.
It makes me feel better because sometimes I'm like, I'm packing these Goldfish.
So I look to her at that question because I almost don't even eat on the water. Especially if it's a tournament day, I'm out there and my mind is 100% on make as many casts as I can make.
I get grumpy, so I have to have snacks.
Yeah, she needs her
She
snacks.
knows that.
100%.
Yep.
Yeah, she's the snack queen, especially on river trips. River trips are a little bit more of a grind as far as, food. And I'm kind of like you. I don't I can go days without eating as long as I got drink. Yeah. And but if I'll take a 6-hour float and turn it into a 13-hour trip. Now, if I catch, the worst thing that can possibly happen to me is catching a fish at the launch.
Yeah.
And then and I've got friends that are extremely like-minded. So I
don't go on those trips.
Yeah. So real quick, we did a trip on Buffalo National River, and we were doing a relatively short float. We got out early. Okay, we're going to be home about 5 or 6 p.m., and that's giving us a lot of time. We spent 3 hours at the launch, and then it stormed on us.
Oh no!
And then the fish bite really turned on. I must have caught 150 fish that day, and then Steven, he caught several, and we had his kid and a friend of his with us, and then we got to the launch at
I think it was
10 p.m. and there's no service. So, and I'm sitting there thinking the whole time, I'm like, she's gonna kill me. And she's not that kind of person, but
I was worried he was dead.
Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking. If she thought I was going to be home, and I thought I was going to be home around 6ish, and it's 10, 11 p.m., and I'm thinking I would think I was dead. And so we finally got to some service. I was like, I'm so sorry. We got to fishing hard, and Yeah, like she was worried there for a while, but then a friend had told her, "Is like they're probably fishing."
Yeah,
And
her husband's a big fisherman, and so I
yeah,
just called her. I was like, "Please tell me he's not dead and
yeah.
he's just
Yeah.
fishing."
But it was such a great trip. I'd found a lure in a tree, and it was oddly enough, I don't know how this happened, but I've never fished with the Rebel Craws
Mm-hmm.
and those things on rivers, and it was the tiny one.
Yep.
So, and it was that time of year bluegills were, on beds. So every single thing that I'm throwing is getting bit. And nobody else is catching anything, so it really slowed down for them. But I'm like catching everything. I'm going down shoals, hitting the sides and catching smallmouth and rock bass and all this. And I'm like, this is amazing. And then I'm thinking, we're looking at the sun, and then there's no cell phone service. So like I'm looking at the GPS, seeing where we're at, and like we're not even halfway.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like we got to start laying some paddles down because like it's.
And I'd love to tell you that has changed on trips. It's the
Oh
exact same
no.
Yeah.
No.
every time.
See, he's been on the river before, but I had my first river experience this year. And so I learned that very quickly, that you think it's going to be a 6-hour float, and it's not.
Yeah,
It's
my
absolutely
first
not.
river float in a kayak was actually with James Fott over at Midwest Kayak Company.
Nice.
That was my first river float in the kayak when we did the Kayak Adventure series last year. That was in Missouri.
So Kendall is the one that was with me on that trip. Yeah,
David.
my go-to lure on the river. Yeah, and I've kind of graduated up to the middle size one. I think the middle size one, because the smaller ones you're going to catch everything, and it get to a point where the small ones, the smaller fish are going to bite it ahead of those bigger fish. And so that kind of was getting irritating because I'm like literally some of the fish that I'm catching on these things, like they're biting around that treble hook, and you're almost mutilating this fish just trying to get that
almost impossible to get it out. Yep.
Yeah.
I've been there.
So
So I'll tell you a great lure to try out. And I know, kind of going off on a tangent, but you start talking about small cranks. So you should check out it's the, what is it, Griffin BFS. So it's a mega bass lure, but I get them from 12 Oaks Custom Lures. He paints up some knockoffs of the Griffin, and oh man, it is like the best little crankbait ever. I've caught big smallies on it. I've caught small ones on it. Tons of rock bass. So they have it in BFS size or regular size, but the BFS size is, I mean, it's tiny. The regular size is probably an inch bigger than what the BFS size is, but man, they are some awesome lures. You can feel them knocking around on the rocks, and man, it triggers some awesome bites on the river.
I think I used something like that. So Rebel makes a creek kit, and it's a little box. You got the little grasshopper, which I don't think I ever really used, but there you got a couple of small crankbaits, and one of them is brown, like a light brown, but it's got an orange underbelly. That thing has absolutely killed for me this year. Just even posted a picture here not too long ago. I was on a low water bridge just bank fishing with it and throwing it into what little water is out here right now, and just pulled a big smallmouth out of there and just hitting in the current. They've been in the current the second half of this year more than anything. Usually, you got the current and then you got that little slack water on the side. That's usually what they park there. But this year it's been a strange year to begin with for fishing.
No joke.
The temperature changes and the the heat, and then the low water, and then we've been getting quite a bit of rain here last couple of days, so we had some flash flooding here. But yeah, I mean it's definitely been different there. So
I'm gonna go ahead and kind of go, because you guys just said kind of new to the river fishing game. What was the most surprising thing or the most challenging thing that you guys ran into going on a river the first time?
So it's just so different. I mean, like, truly being on a lake versus a river is so different.
Definitely.
I have always had a healthy fear of the river growing up, because there's a lot more. I have always heard about a lot more deaths on the river than the thing. So I always had a healthy respect. So I was kind of nervous to begin with, but we went with the big group it really wasn't, the current wasn't too bad and all that stuff. So I kind of got over that a little bit and just kind of learned that, safety first, all that good stuff. Yeah. So I got over that fairly quickly. Obviously I still have a healthy respect of it, but not so much a fear anymore. But the most challenging part for me was like it's on a lake, you're sitting still, so like casting is different, like versus we're like floating down the river and I'm like trying to cast, and you're just like continually moving.
And there's trees that are 150 feet tall.
Yeah, we don't have to go there. We don't have to go there. They call me the sycamore slayer. They like to have fun with that. But learning to cast while moving or find a better position, because we don't have motors, we're still in pedal kayaks at the moment, which is fine, but it does make it a little more challenging if the river is flowing pretty decent and all that stuff, and you're trying to fight the current for some smallies and stuff. So casting was the most challenging part to me, to get that part figured out, versus at the lake where I'm sitting still, I see where I want to cast, I cast there and it goes there, so that took some getting used to.
Different setups too.
Yes, very much
definitely.
So. Yep.
So I grew up, I fished the river a lot when I was younger with my dad, in boats, but we were cat fishermen. So it was kind of go up river and find a spot to anchor down and throw out a line and fish for catfish, which I see he's actually in the chat too. Yeah, so I've done some river fishing quite a bit, but getting into the kayak side of things. So joined James last year on the current river when the river was ripping. We had, leading right up to that kayak adventure series, we had a week of flooding. The river was sky high, and that first time on the river, it was moving so fast. I had a few times that I'd be coming up to some of those spots and I'd be like, Lord, just help me get through this rapid right here, and I would make it through. It was so funny because like I was, again, used to fishing in a boat on a river. So I knew that, the current's going to be moving you and stuff, but I would make a cast on a crankbait where I work my crankbaits fairly fast, and I would make a cast on a crankbait and start reeling as fast as I could. And the crankbait would be way behind me by the time I got it back to my kayak. It was just crazy. We were going so fast.
James, what a terrible person to get involved with, right? So I made a trip up there.
May 30th, I think it was.
Yeah, it was not too long ago, but and then just had dinner over at his house, got to meet him and his family, and just quality person. And they're the reason, people like that are the reason that I'm so passionate on helping out local paddle shops. And of course, I just did the Facebook post here not too long ago. We're asking people just simply, how far are you from your closest paddle shop? Because a lot of people that buy online, they do that because there's not one close by. And it's kind of a slippery slope where, we need more of those to open up, because they're closing down at a rapid pace right now. And even with, the news of the Hobie acquisition, which again, a lot of us knew about, but now that it's official, those people that had gone all in on Hobie as a paddle shop, it's kind of unheard of waters, if you will, because like we don't know, Big Bass Pro's big box, and they've been selling Hobies for a couple of years now, just on their website. So, but they don't warranty them, and they don't do the service, and that hurts those places that do that service. And new paddle shops are not getting into the Hobie waters because there's the uncertainty. And even the ones that used to be in Hobie have gotten out of it because there's a bad taste in their mouth for that. So it's definitely interesting to see where that goes. It's going to be interesting. And those paddle shops that just stayed away from Hobie altogether, they're chuckling in the corner, just like, hey, they really dodged a bullet there, because Hobie was the hottest thing out there for quite a while. Like, that was the mountaintop. That was what everyone aspired to be. And that's where a lot of their hate come from, is, is there some jealousy in that? Sure. Is there, why do you need all this stuff? Like, well, you ever been in one when it's working right? It's something else. It really is. I was in a pro angler for about a year. And I loved it. Didn't have any problems, but I didn't have the 360 drive. I did the 180 for that reason. And just the space, and you got all this real estate. Obviously, Hobie's got their own accessory lineup. It's a lot like a Harley Davidson. You got parts and then you got Harley parts, and there's a price difference there. It doesn't mean they're better quality, they're just Harley parts. So
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
One of the reasons I think I was so hesitant on kayak fishing was because, I'd been out kayaking, just regular kayaking, and I was thinking, who would want to fish out of a kayak? Like that sounded miserable and uncomfortable and all that stuff. So and then I had a tandem kayak because we had young kids at that time. So the first time I went out, kayak fishing, I was in a tandem kayak, which is ginormous and huge and all that stuff. Then I moved to a $50 kayak my mom found at a yard sale.
Yep.
Because I still was like, I don't know, I don't want to spend a bunch of money on something that, as much as I loved it, I didn't want to spend all that money on something like that because it was crazy. So it took a while for me to be convinced to be moved up into a nicer, like actual kayak. But man, it's makes all of the difference in the world. Like the kayak definitely matters, and it's worth putting in a little bit more money in it.
yes,
for sure.
it is, and that was kind of what got my start in doing YouTube videos was, and I specialize in the mid to upper tier kayaks. So if somebody's looking for videos on like big box store kayak, I'm just not the guy for that.
Yeah.
But the value in a lot of these kayaks, so some of them have better value than others, what you get for what you pay for. And like in a pro angler, just say for example, do you actually want or need all of those extra things? If you're going to use every part of it, there's a great value in it. But if you're not, if you're just looking to keep it simple, I don't use fishing electronics. So I'll use a motor obviously, but I don't use depth finders or anything. I just don't. I don't have anything against them, but so you're joking about the
kids.
The kids. We got dogs scratching at the door back there. Probably
It's
wanting.
all good.
Probably
We actually have 3 dogs also, so we get that.
Yeah, we got 4.
They're just as bad.
Yes, they are.
But what kayaks are you guys in currently?
So I am currently in a Bonafide P127. I was in a Vibe Seaghost for 4 years. I still have the Seaghost. It's a great kayak. It honestly handled really well on the river. I was in it last year when I did hit the current river. I'm still keeping it. If I get into any like skinny river water, I'm probably going to be out on the Vibe versus the P127.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, I love my kayak now. Switching to that pedal drive, especially for some of the bigger lakes that we fish occasionally, makes such a world of difference because you can just pedal against the wind and keep on pedaling versus paddling.
It's exhausting.
Exhausted.
It really did make a difference. I have a Old Town PDL 106 right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
It's
what made you
incredible.
go with what made you go with the 106?
So, well, we do absolutely love our local kayak stores, but we got 4 kids and sometimes we're on a budget, and we found a deal on Marketplace that included both our kayaks and the trailer. And so I really didn't pick it. It just kind of picked us.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I was looking around and I happened to see 2 kayaks. I knew I wanted something in that 12-foot range.
Yeah.
And I knew for her that 10-foot range would be great because she's 5'2", I'm 6'2". So, we needed to I wanted a little bit longer. I like to be able to stretch my legs out. So it just so happened somebody was selling a P127 and a PDL 106 and a trailer.
And we
jumped on it.
It was a great deal, and we drove all the way down. We drove a couple hours for it, but it was a good enough deal. It was worth it. And I'm so grateful. It gets so windy at our lake, and it's incredible.
Yeah, we have no trees, so there's nothing to stop the wind. No trees. It's all flat. It's a strip pit, so just flat water and wind ripping.
See, we've got trees, and we get winded all the time.
Oh, yeah.
There are 2 large lakes in Bull Shoals and Norfolk Lake.
Yeah.
In the middle of the day, that's what got me into motors, because I was
our first fishing tournament.
Oh
yeah, for sure.
And we were in paddle kayaks.
Yeah.
I was paddling a New Canoe Unlimited, and she was paddling a Jackson U-Pick, and we were fishing in this little cove, and it was blocked from the wind. and we can kind of see some white caps out there, but like, okay, that'll die down. And it was one of the things where we're paddling against the wind to get to our spot, and when we're coming back, we're paddling against the wind to get back. And we were literally I was just digging in.
We weren't moving at all.
I'm looking at the bank next to me, and you can just see it just inching. Like you could see like individual rocks just moving by. I'm like, oh, this is terrible. Yeah. And then I'd got a pedal drive on my New Canoe Frontier, and I got out there, and it was extremely windy. And like, it's the nose is going up and down, it's slapping. And I'm like, okay, like I get it now. I get it. Like, because I'm selling these motor guides with the GPS, the spot lock and all that. And then, okay, like I was testing out the pedal drive to see if I wanted to add it to that kayak. I'm like, no, like not for where I'm at and what I like to do. I get the motor. And then they brought in that Unlimited and that Tundra color. And I just instantly fell in love. And that was the problem. You think working at a kayak shop, you're immune to, the new cool thing. No. I saw that come in. I'm like, man, I looked at her. It's like, it's $100 more than a Frontier.
We're pickier about our dogs than we are about our kayaks.
Oh man. Yeah.
Like we all clearly love dogs. I'm easily worked in a shelter for a while, could say no to dogs. He works at a kayak store, cannot say no to kayaks.
No. And I sold cars back in like early 2000, 2001, and that totally changed my view on new vehicles. Being around the kayak shop, it's like, okay, when the new stuff's coming out, kind of what's in the works, and you get to know some of these people at these companies. So like, it's almost like a family atmosphere. The kayak industry it's competitive, but it's not cutthroat. And I guess that's the best way to put it. Like they all know each other. They, a lot of them will trade people or, just take, U10 and Tundra.
Sorry.
So, Hans with Bonafide, the one who's designing all these guys, he worked for Wilderness Systems back in the day.
Yes.
He did a lot of that stuff. And, it's interesting. But, there's better fits for, different people. And I think he's definitely where he needs to be right now because they're just knocking it out of the park here lately. The Bonafide P127, in my opinion, is one of the best underrated kayaks out there. Because before they came out with that, they just had like the SS series and then like an RS 117. They were just a lake kayak company and a paddle kayak company. And people kept saying where the dry pot is, they take it out and they look at that little trough and they're like, was that where your pedal drive goes? Like, well, no, they don't make a pedal drive yet.
Yeah.
And then when they made one, I'm thinking this thing's going to fly off the shelves. You couldn't give them away. And I don't know why that was, but then you start to see the price drop and then people selling them on Marketplace. I think Darren
Lenthal got one on Marketplace as well.
And he got his cheap.
Sure did.
And when we did the video alongside him and Jameson Redding, to where we did the criminally underrated kayaks, and he did the P127.
Yes,
I did the New Canoe Flint, and Jameson did the inflatable, the NRS series. So.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, Jameson's a good dude too. There's just a lot of good people in the space there.
Oh, yeah.
I agree.
We agree.
So what got you guys into YouTube though? Because that's just a different world altogether.
So let's start out the same way that I got into kayak fishing. She said I was crazy.
Yeah.
So I told her, I fell in love with watching kayak fishing. I started watching, guys like John Dalton.
Yes.
Then, I found Greg Blanchard and I was like, oh, this looks awesome. This guy is recording bass fishing tournaments. I was like, I've got to look into kayak tournaments around me. So I started kind of looking into kayak tournaments and decided to start trying that. But I was like, it's pretty cool watching these guys record everything.
Yeah.
And just seeing how their trips went. So I talked her into getting me a GoPro. I told her I was
talk me into it. I bought it for Christmas.
But I'd been telling her I was really wanting to get a camera. I was like, I think it would be a lot of fun to record my trips. So she got it for me for Christmas, and I recorded a year's worth of trips and deleted every single one of them because I was like, oh man, I can't stand my voice. I do
Yeah.
all kinds of really dumb things on the water, you know? So I'm like, I'm going through footage and I'm like, oh, that was terrible. Oh, I made a really silly move there, you know, and I'm just deleting footage. And really at the very end of that year, I finally threw a couple videos together that are absolutely hideous. And I posted them. And from there on, I was like, okay, I'm gonna start doing this. So in 2023, I started actually posting here and there. I wasn't consistent, but
Yeah.
I was posting some. And then last year, I was like, okay, now it's time to actually get to the grindstone and be consistent. So last year, I started being a lot more consistent. So yeah, it really just kind of came down to just getting into it because I thought it would be kind of cool to record. And I think one of the biggest reasons why I stuck with it, okay, I'll say the two biggest reasons why I stuck with it. I had a lot of fun doing it, really. I
Yeah.
enjoyed it. And going back and seeing, especially tournament days, what I did wrong. When I made mistakes and I could go back and look at them and be like, "Oh, that's why I missed that fish or that's why I didn't land that fish." That was huge. And then last year, when I finally added a camera to her boat, which at first I didn't think that was ever going to happen either, you know, and I finally talked her into letting me add a camera to her boat, that kicked things off better than anything else
Yeah.
because, like, I don't know, it just made it so much more fun. I think it made it more fun for the audience as well because we will get that banter going out on the water. I'm sure you guys do the same thing, especially if we're fishing. Like, oh hey, I'm gonna catch a bigger fish than you, you know, or we'll
Yeah.
get mouthing off at each other. So I'll clip it and I'll have it to where her mouthing off, then like it'll flip back and forth between the two cameras, us kind of mouthing at each other, and it's made it more fun for us, and I think it's made it more fun for the audience as well.
That is probably the one piece of advice I give to anybody who's willing to listen is just start posting. Your
100%.
your videos are, and I tell everyone this, even myself, your video is going to suck. Just as
Yes.
long as you know that, you're okay with it. But each video that you post, just try to do something a little bit better or a little bit different.
Yes.
And that's one thing that I warn people of. The sound of your own voice is the worst thing to yourself in
It's
the world.
horrible.
Yes, it is.
But other people don't have that. And another thing is, I always tell people, nobody around you cares that you have a YouTube channel. So I don't tell friends, I don't tell coworkers, I don't, like family don't watch my videos. They may occasionally, but they just don't.
My family watches his videos.
Yeah, but I mean, you're talking about like one view. It's
Yeah,
If
exactly.
you're passionate about something, chances are someone else is. And we had Gene Jensen on the live stream last year.
Yeah.
And he said something that was really kind of stuck with me was there's a bunch of people doing the same thing. So it's like being in a crowd holding up a sign. Is your sign that you're holding up going to look just like everybody else's, or is it going to be different? And in your videos, when you added her, it added a dimension. Like that's why I had to kind of talk her into doing the live streams. And in some of the other videos, it's like it gives a perspective from somebody other than, well, I mean, some people will see my videos like, oh, it's the salesman talking about the kayaks again. And then some people really value my opinion, and that's fine. But with her in there, I said it gives a woman's perspective. It gives maybe an informed outsider's perspective because she's been around it just as much as I have. She just didn't work in it. And yeah, I mean, she knows her kayak. She's paddled some that she likes and some that she don't like, and she's seen the problems that some of them have, and the reason why I'm the way I am or I think the way I think on them. And yeah, just same thing with your videos. Seeing her have a good time, seeing the banter, it's entertaining. If it's entertaining or it's informative or if it's both, that's really kind of the magic sauce there. And then obviously just getting stuff out there for people to watch.
Kayla, I've got a question for you now.
Okay.
What did you think of Chase being a YouTuber?
I literally and I feel so guilty now because I'm so in it with him now. Like we're in it. But I literally I remember because it was around 2020 when I got the camera and stuff. So I was walking, I was in a run group with some girls, and I remember walking with them and being like, it's taking up all this time and there's never gonna go anywhere. I remember complaining about it hardcore. And now I'm in it, so I feel really guilty. But when you start in it, like it just seems like this crazy out of reach like dream, you know, like it doesn't seem like you could ever do it. But then I watched him, you know, props to him. I watched him just like grind it out and grow his channel, and he got it to where it was. He you know, he reached 1,000 followers without me and all that stuff. So it's not like I got in there or do anything now. I've watched him grind it out. And I can now see what he was trying to get me to see in the beginning is just, you know, this community that we're trying to build together and all that stuff. So it's now I'm definitely more, you know, I love it now. I love the community we built. You like, you know, Josh and Trevor, they're on here right now. Sean, all of them, they're all talking because we get on there and we just have a good time together.
Yeah.
And I love that now. So took me a little bit to come around, but here I am now, right?
Yeah. And it's impossible to really explain that. Like now she was supportive no matter what, but I didn't start it with the intention on monetization. I didn't know anything about it. My whole purpose was, and my first video was with my cell phone, and you know, I didn't even have the cell phone sideways. I had it straight up and down. So you had like the black bars, and it was on it was on a bona fide RVR. It was one of the first ones that hit the country, and I'm like, okay, because I'm watching these other people do these videos, and I'm getting customers in here that talk about watching these videos, and they're wrong. Like not the customer, but the information they're getting.
Yes.
And I'm like, so I started thinking, I'm like, it was winter in the kayak industry is a lonely business. So I'm literally just sitting in a cold shop with nobody to talk to. And I'm like, well, shoot, I can do this. This is what I do. And so I just like, I'm sitting there looking at that. I'm like, okay. And I did like 15 takes because like, again, that sound of my voice, I couldn't get over it. And stuttering in a moment, did no editing, no nothing. All I did was held a phone, and you can just see my finger pointing and I'm sitting there looking at my phone like doing this, trying to line my finger up with what I'm talking about. And it got like, I was lucky because that first video got like 10,000 views.
Oh yeah.
Like my video came out before Bonafide's video actually came out on the same time. And I'm like, okay. And then the next one I did got like 30 views.
Yeah.
So I was like that ego I got at that point. Like, okay, like, I'm all right. And then, but then just slowly and steadily, I'm like, okay, I got access, and that was my unfair advantage, was access to the brand.
Yes.
So, like I'm doing New Canoe, and I'm doing the Tarpon 105, and literally the reason I did it was I was building up a library of information on each kayak brand that we carry, so that people can watch it. They can come to the store and say, hey, I watched your video. I want to look at this kayak or demo it. And it just kind of grew from there. And then before you knew it, like our stores at other locations far away are asking about this bearded paddler guy. We're getting, I had friends that worked at other paddle shops where they was like, hey, are you doing these videos? I'm like, yeah, because we're getting people asking about this all the time. So it really kind of multiplied, because other than like, really, there was nobody doing actual walkthroughs other than the manufacturers. Like you got big ones like Fluke Master and Chad Hoover, where they're doing like fishing videos, and they're doing like informative, like how-tos on fishing. They're not just doing bow to stern. This is why this kayak is $1,000. You know, like there's a lot of stuff in there, because otherwise it's just a plastic boat. You know, the gear rails, the accessories that can go with it, the weight capacities, the width, the underneath of the hull. I did one on like kayak terms that you should know, like when people are talking about chine and gunnels and the hull and, you know, deck and all this, but just stuff like that, because it's just meant to inform. And then now I think I kind of turned into like a talking head now. So like I'm doing, like, hey, this is what Hobie's doing this week. But but it's a wild ride. It's definitely something that I didn't think it was going to turn into, but the biggest thing too is knowing when to say no to when a company reaches out to you to represent their product, if you're not totally behind the product too.
Yes. Yeah. And that's something that, because, we have our little podcast too. And that's another thing that I'm wanting to do on one of our future episodes, is kind of talk about that. because everyone wants to be, sponsored. Everyone wants to be
Yeah.
sponsored by something. If
But do
if
they?
you're like, if your goal is to make it in YouTube, your goal is to get sponsors and all that stuff. And, so many people look at, well, how many companies can I get supporting me by
Yeah.
sending me stuff? And there was a time where I was like, oh, cool. It would be awesome to get things given to me. And, I'm not saying that I don't still receive some items. There are items that
Yeah.
I still receive, but the only items I receive are items that I 100% feel like, hey, I think this is an item I would promote. They're either items I'm already using or items that I've been looking at using because of I believe that they're going to be what I need, And so many
100%.
people are all about just jumping in and getting sponsored and being on every pro staff they can be on. And like, I am on very limited, pro staffs because I don't see a reason to jump on every single team.
Yeah.
Number one, if they're not really a team, what good does it do to be a part of their team? I want to be a part of something that number one, if I'm on their team, they promote me just as much as I promote them. And yeah, that's big to me. And so many people are just looking for, hey, where's that next buck that I can get from this company? And I don't want to tie my name to a company. I want, hey, this is the company I use because of they produce, and that's why I use them.
And that's a really good point. So sponsored is kind of a double-edged sword. Sponsored, especially when you're in the early stages, it's your first feeling of you've made it a little bit.
Yeah.
A company values your input or your platform, and yeah, you built this thing up. But a bad sponsorship can also send it crashing down too. I've learned, and I know Jay with Bearded Dad Fishing has learned also, probably about the same time too. The dedicated product videos will destroy your channel. I've done them a few times, but it's usually products like you'll get lithium battery companies coming out of the woodworks to see you. I think at one point I had like 4 different lithium batteries, and and I'm like, okay, this is great. They're sending me batteries, for kayak motors. They're great. But then I thought, okay, I need to pick one battery company.
Yeah.
They all work great. I didn't have any problems with any of them. But I go with Red Odeo. Nothing wrong with Lifetime. There's nothing wrong with any, Power Queen or any of those. But I picked one that supported us, and their product is great. I still run my 36 volt on my Newport, and I torture it. I don't put it in a battery box. It's out there in the elements. I was like, okay, they gave it to me. I'm gonna treat it the worst possible way that I could possibly treat it. So then when I tell somebody, hey, you need to try these, don't spend a fortune on powering the motor, because the internals are all the same. They all use what they call grade A components. So, your casing's a little different, your name, and essentially you're paying for more warranty. Some American companies will have a 20-year warranty. These have 10-year warranties, but quite frankly, I'm not going to use this battery for 10 years. There's going to be something new that comes out that I'm probably going to use. But yeah, that's, so I'll do affiliate marketing, but I don't do sponsorships because that's dangerous. If I linked myself to a company and that company came out and did something that I didn't agree with, then I'm in a hole. And you've kind of seen that happen a little bit with the whole Nakwa Yak Attack thing.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I've had some conversations with some people behind the scenes, and I'm not going to put their names out there because, again, that's their freedom to speak out like they want to. But some of these people represent both of those brands, and they're not okay with that. And
agreed. I've actually had some friends that have gone away from Yak Attack because of that whole instance, and that have been with Yak Attack for a while,
Yeah, I love Yak Attack. They took more, they took more flack from the whole Chinese motor rebranding thing during ICAST than I thought they deserved, because
agreed,
that company knew Yak Attack was doing that. They're making the motors for them. Yak Attack is giving a option, and I'm not going to buy it. It's not my thing. That's fine. But there's some people that may have a great value in that. But the Naqua thing, I kind of saw that video that the guy from Naqua put out, and I'm a big Naqua fan. I'm not
Same.
sponsored by them, but
Same.
you know, I just use their products. And man, I was like, I got to looking into that. I got to asking questions about that, and like that's insane to me. And so then
Agreed.
I reached out to them, and I was like, hey, I looked on there, and they had these battery banks, and these things are great, by the way. And that kind of brings us up to the giveaway. So we're going to announce the giveaway on these. So what we're giving away is we're doing this is a brand new power bank. So I bought 3 of them, and they threw in the 4th. So our customers are sponsored by Naqua. That, you know, whoever gets this can say that. So I've got a power bank right here. I've got a stash pack, which is the silicone covering.
Yep.
There's 2 different colors here. So I've got whoever wins gets the blue or the red, white, and blue. I've got an extra of either one of those. And then I've got the quad cable, which kind of...
Yep.
Get it close to your face.
Yeah, those are great. Being able to use whatever you want to
Really
plug in
like
for.
those. Yes, we have one.
But the winner of the drawing, and again, all you had to do was share Naqua's Facebook page, like their page, and then tag me in it just so I could see you did it, is Stephen Scott. So I don't know Stephen.
All right. Congrats.
But again, you don't have to be present here. I'll reach out to you, Stephen, on that. But congratulations and thank you. Again, not sponsored by Naqua, but I'm all about supporting original ideas from quality companies.
Yep.
Zinger. But yeah, congratulations to Stephen. Again, I'll reach out to you, find out which color you want, get your address, ship it out to you. And yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I have one of those stash packs and the battery too. When we go live on the water, that's how I keep my phone charged up. They are great, and they'll last multiple times on the water too, so I don't have to recharge it every time. Love it.
So real quick, ST Outdoors asked, how good are those for powering GoPros? I just filmed my 4th episode of Take Me to the River. I'm still chopping that up. I need to get that out soon. But I bought 3 of them because I had 3 different cameras on this latest episode. I had a GoPro, I had a DJI Action 5, and I had the new Insta360 X5. All 3 of those were powered with these power packs. All 3 of the power packs on all 3 cameras outlasted my SD card. I've never had that happen before.
Wow.
And I used Anchor power banks before that, and I've never had that happen before. The power banks always went down, and I'd have to kind of recharge it a little bit. But I'm very, very happy with these. They are not waterproof; they are weatherproof. The reason being is you are plugging a cord into it and to your power, into your camera. So that does take the weatherproof or the waterproof aspect out of it. But they do come with the carabiner clips. It's got a neat little compass on it, and a little light bar status that shows how much juice you got. And I am 100% behind this product. I'm probably going to buy more of these in the future, but these things, it's a 10 amp hour. So it's a 10,000 megawatt hours or whatever, but it basically comes into
milliamps. Yep.
And, but yeah, I didn't have any problem. This is one of the ones I used on that river trip, and it still got juice, and I used it the entire trip. And then when I saw the SD card is full, I was bummed because, I still had a good amount to go. One of them still had a little bit of room on it, so I kind of saved it to film the end of the trip. But
they both got 1 bar left.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And we're talking about high heat. We're talking about, conditions that aren't ideal for electronics. These things definitely, they lasted for sure.
Something that also helps with the waterproofing, again, not perfectly waterproof, but using silicone earplugs. We'll actually get those silicone earplugs and we wrap our wires in that at the plug, and that definitely helps out as well.
Yeah, that's so what talking about YouTube there, what's been your biggest surprise in your YouTube journey so far?
Oh man. I mean, a lot of it is surprising. You know how it is. There are videos that you're like, this is gonna straight take off. And those videos just hit the tank. And then
Yeah.
a video that you make that you're like, oh yeah, this one's just gonna be a mediocre video, then it all of a sudden takes off. And the randomness. So I'm up to just about 200 full length videos now.
Okay.
Not counting our podcasts. So
Yeah.
I've been grinding it out for a little while. Sometimes you'll have a video that'll be a year and a half, 2 years old that all of a sudden catches traction out of nowhere and just starts taking off. So that's the big thing. Uh, I guess maybe the biggest surprise, it's that grind to 4,000 hours. It
Yeah.
takes a while. I know once you get there, it's well worth it. We are right about there. We are
Okay.
not there yet, but we are right about there. We are just a few hundred hours away now.
Nice.
Really, the last few weeks have kind of went crazy for us. We've had a few videos do really well. Just had a tournament video. It was my first tournament win
Yep.
that is doing well right now. So, um, just a few videos to take off and we'll be there. But yeah, so we are not monetized yet on YouTube.
Okay. It'll get there.
Oh yeah.
Long form videos is definitely the way to go on that.
Yes.
I want to say I had the 4,000 before I had the 1,000, but it was just
Yeah.
because all of my videos were long form, and
Yeah.
it does make it easier. Shorts, I've got a little bit of a mixed relationship with shorts.
Agreed.
You'll get some subscribers, but I always
Yes.
felt like they were empty subscribers.
Agreed.
And subscriber counts, I always feel, and that was my big thing with newer YouTubers, is don't worry about your subscriber count. Worry about your
100%.
interactions, your views, your length of views, how long are they staying on there, and you know, are they liking, are they
Yeah.
commenting, and all that stuff. As far as, I mean, there's videos out there with 1 million subscribers, but they're only getting like 500 views a video or 1,000 views a
Yeah.
video, then it doesn't really matter. And if your subscribers, like you said, if you're building a community and that community supports you and your video
Yeah.
content and they enjoy it, they're going to watch it, they're going to share it, and the metrics are all there. So like, YouTube will email you or they'll send you the weekly recaps of how your stuff
Yeah.
does and how many people shared, and it's really neat. You know, I've dabbled in the subscription ideas there for a little bit. I don't really do that just because I feel weird doing that. But the for sure the doing content that people want to watch and doing it on subjects that people are searching for, you get the new people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Searchable type.
Yeah, and I'll say one other thing. So something that, because you talked about shorts, so I was the same way. At first, I was putting a lot of shorts out there. Then I was like, man, these just don't translate into actual views. They don't translate into your watch hours at all. Every once in a while, you'll pull a sub over from your shorts that's going to watch your long form, but it is so rare. To me, it's not worth it. I will only post a short if it's something that I really feel like, hey, this is something that'll be good and it'll do good and potentially turn into something else. But I hardly ever post shorts, but people love that short form content so much. Of course, I do Facebook, or Instagram, TikTok, all those, and post all those, and people love that short form content. So you think that, hey, when it comes to your long form content, they're going to want a 4 or 5 minute video because that's all that they can keep their attention on. But really, I noticed that having longer videos was way better when it comes to long form content. So at first, probably my first, quite a few videos were in that 5 to maximum 10-minute range,
Yeah.
which kind of came from also me learning how to record, how to edit, and what content was going to be actually watched. But yeah, so many of those videos were in that real small range, and now it's like I don't like to put out a video that's less than 15 to 20 minutes because they just don't get the same amount of views. If I can hit 20 to 30 minutes, that's my real prime area.
Yeah.
20 to
Nice.
30 minutes, those get a lot more views, they get a lot more watch hours, and you know, even sometimes depending on the video, I might hit 45 minutes to even an hour that will retain people a lot better. You just learning that hey, just because people love the short form content doesn't mean that your long form content needs to be short.
Have you ever done chapters on your videos?
So I've mainly played with the automatic chapters. I don't really go in and insert them myself.
Try that, especially
Okay.
on longer videos.
Yep.
You'll see the spikes.
Yep.
And so like a lot of my longer videos, I'll do chapters because I'm usually doing segments. So like,
Yeah.
talking about a kayak, the specs, is it stable? Is it a good value? Pros and cons, closing. And then, but people will skip around to what they want to see. And if they like that part, they will skip back and you'll see them spike where those
Okay.
chapters begin. And it just, I've found that my retention is better, my views go up instead of seeing, oh my God, he's talking for an hour, and then just skip it all together. As
Yeah.
opposed to saying, okay, like, well, he's talking about this and this and this, and like, we'll let's go to that, and then like, oh, that was really cool. What does he say about this?
Mhm.
And say like, if you're doing a fishing video, um, top water blow up, on one of the chapters, or one that got away, and
Yeah.
your diehards are always going to watch your videos.
Yeah.
It's those casual viewers that'll kind of look at those chapters and casually kind of dip
Yes.
their toes in a little bit, and then if they like what they see, they're going to watch the rest of it. So it's
Yeah.
and
Makes
it's easy
sense.
to insert it too. You're putting intro at 00.
Yeah.
There's videos on that. I'm definitely not a YouTube expert.
Yeah.
I've dived into it a little bit just to learn a little bit about it, but ultimately you're still just, if someone wants to watch it, you need to make it and try to
Yeah.
connect the two. So
Yeah.
I'm
And I
gonna
think,
ask.
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I think that would be really good. One of the newer series, I guess, I've started is called Getting Started. So just kind of talking about multiple different things, getting started kayak fishing, getting started kayak tournament fishing, getting started kayak transportation. And that, I think that would probably really help out, where I break down each little area. So that's something I'll definitely look at.
yeah, and because there's people that are out there, maybe they've started in it and but they don't know. Like there's people that go out and God bless them, they don't have a budget, so they're buying the best, the most expensive kayak, and they're buying
Yeah.
the most expensive trailer, and they're buying the most expensive motor and electronics and live scope. And then when you get on marketplace and you see those things for sale and it says brand new, well, it's not
Yes.
brand new. Even if it's never been in the water, you own it. It's
Yep.
not you're not the original owner anymore. But you see people, they get into it and they do all these things,
Yep.
but they haven't got it wet yet. And that's why I always tell
Yes.
people, it's like, get your kayak, get a good paddle, or if you're a pedal drive, just get it out in the water, fish bare. Like I always call it fishing naked. So
Yes.
like
Same.
you don't have the accessories, you don't have any of that stuff. But once you are out there using it, you're going to say, man, it really would be nice to have like a Yak Attack rod holder, or it'd be nice to have a Black Pack Pro, a crate system, a tackle management system, instead of buying everything in the Yak Attack catalog, ordering your motor, getting the shop's, appointment to rig it up. And then you find out, man, the excitement has left because you haven't got it on the water yet. It's just this thing that you bought.
Yeah.
And then you're telling your wife that you spent $8,000 on a plastic boat. And then it's like, well, I need to pay some bills. I was like, so then you're selling it and you're trying to sell this thing for $10,000. And yeah,
Yep.
and you see it a lot, and that's not something new. That's happened ever since I've been around it. You're seeing a lot of Hobie stuff out there. You're seeing a lot of bona fides fully rigged and new canoes fully rigged out there. And people are trying to get that top dollar out of it. I'm like,
even the people that are like, oh, hey, I want to get this boat, like say a Titan X. Titan X is an awesome boat, but those things are heavy and they're car topping it. I've got to get this boat because it's the best boat. And then they're having to put that up on their car. You put that on your roof a few times and you're going to be like, oh, I'm going to get something else, And that's something really, a lot of what you said is almost in my script for the getting started kayak fishing.
says that all the
I say it all the time. I equated, I was like, look, you've found the kayak that's perfect for you.
Yeah.
What is your next step? Let's go look at Greg Blanchard's latest video where he has his custom made crate that he holds 14 rods. Let's get that crate and put 14 rods on there and put our Newport motor on there and put all this stuff. And I'm like, and you're going to be really glad that you brought those 14 rods, because the first thing you're going to do is backlash 5 of them. You're going to break a couple of them. You're going to lose a couple of them because you don't know what you're doing in that kayak yet. You've not spent any time in that kayak to really understand it at all. You just decided because Greg Blanchard does it and it's his kayak, I might as well get everything that he has in it. And like he put that stuff in there because of his experience in a kayak, and that's what a lot of people just don't get. It's so easy to be like you said, I'm going to load up the Yak Attack website on my cart right now. So yeah.
And that I got a funny story with the Titan X. So like we got the first ones to hit the floor.
Oh.
And you were there.
Yes, it was.
So usually on the trucks, when we get a truck, it would be packed. Like it'd be a full big rig truck and it's packed to the roof and the driver's helping. And we didn't have the official weight yet. Native kind of delayed the official weight.
Yes, they did
on that, and we didn't know. So we're thinking these are like 130 to 150 pounds, and the first one was lowered down, and I took it. The back end of it hit me right in the chest, and we found out like, okay, this is not 150 pounds. It was 172 pounds fully released.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was like, oh my God. And they have the best handles. They got those rubberized grips on the rail. But I'm like, I'm holding on to this thing. And like our forearms are cramping up from carrying these things.
Yes.
This is like a July day. And we're unloading a truck with like 98 kayaks on it. And we got like 3 or 4 of each color to go to the different stores. And we're loading all of these 12.5s. And then the 10.5s come out, and then they feel like feathers because we just got done unloading all those 12. And then after that, you got the old Slayer Maxes, and then then like it was rough. And that was the day that we got the 2 trucks.
Yeah.
The Big Adventures truck, and then we got a Jackson truck immediately after, and it was like 105 degrees with a heat index.
That was a fun day.
That was rough. I'd always have to take like a change of shirt because my shirt would just be saturated. It looked like I just dipped in the water. It was.
I think that was a 3-shirt day for you.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It was so bad. That's the only thing I don't miss about the industry is unloading those trucks. Like,
I bet.
a high volume store, and at the time it was 5 stores at the time, so it was like we're unloading enough trucks for 5 or boats for 5 stores.
The fact that we didn't kill each other also.
Yeah. I was too busy getting body slammed by those things. That was unreal. But it's a great kayak.
Yep.
We're over an hour, so I've got one question for you because this is my favorite question to ask anybody who comes on the show. And because there are 2 of you, I want the answer from both of you. If you could choose only 2 fish to catch for the rest of your life, that's all you could catch, what 2 fish are you choosing?
That's easy for me. It would be smallmouth and largemouth. Because people always want to make you choose between them both. They're always like, which one's better? And I'm like, they're each so much fun. Like they each have their own thrill about them. Yes, smallies fight hard, but finding the largemouth and finding the big ones is a whole lot of fun too. So that's definitely me. I when people said that, I didn't understand it fully until this year when I actually got my hands on some smallmouth. And yes, I absolutely have fallen in love. I'm ready to go back to the river. Don't have anything super close. So, just kind of itching to get back out there whenever we can. So I definitely have fallen in love with that, but I still love chasing my largemouth bass around here too. So.
And she's good at finding big ones. I know somebody commented earlier that she catches bigger fish than me, and that's not a lie. She really does catch bigger fish than me. For me, I would have to say smallmouth, and really the fish that really got me into kayak fishing and has had me into fishing for years, and that would be crappie. I love catching crappie.
Yeah.
Now I haven't got to do anything like go catch redfish or anything like that, and I know from what I've been told, if I go out and catch them, that'll be the fish that I would love to catch from here on out. But
That's the number one answer we get to that question too.
until I get out there, I'm going to go with crappie and smallmouth.
Yeah.
Now, I hate saying that because I still like going and catfishing with my dad. I'm not a catfisherman myself anymore, but when I go out with my dad, that's a different story.
Yeah. That's actually how I started. Just big treble hook, chicken livers.
Yep.
And I would actually take pantyhose and cut it in a square.
Yeah.
Put the chicken liver in there, put the corners up, kind of like an old like hobo sack.
Yeah.
And you still get because if you ever fish with chicken livers, once it gets in the water so much, it's like having snot on that. It keeps it in there. Yeah. I grew up, and I wish I still had those pictures, because I used to have pictures of me as a little kid, like holding catfish like taller than me.
Yeah.
Me then, obviously not now. But,
yeah, exactly.
But yeah, like we had 2 ponds on our property, and that's how we stocked them. Was we'd go to the Buffalo River and catch catfish and just throw them in the pond so we can catch them over and over again.
Yep.
Yeah, I did not grow up learning how to fish. I fished here and there, so it's been an adventure learning it all this year. Because last year when he was talking about doing all this tournament stuff that I was watching, I was like, you know what? I like competition. Let's go for it. So it wasn't until last, I think August was when I started hooking my own fish and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
so
it's definitely an evolution, and I know, and I'm sure Chase thinks the same thing. But it's fun as me, like me watching her evolution. She's tying her own knots. She goes to the store and she's like picking out lures, or we wake up one morning, she's like, let's go get some tackle.
Designing her own little lure.
Awesome.
A little swim jig.
I have fun with it. Even though I'm learning from him, I picked up different techniques than he has, than he knows and stuff. So we kind of find our own ways and go our own separate ways and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, we do the same thing. So if we had kind of a local tournament series here, that now me working at the store, we sponsored them. So I never like in money from them or anything, but I still like fishing. And a lot of my friends that I fish with today are from that group. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, it was just so neat to kind of get out there and, see her in the distance. And then of course, I'm a competitive person. She's not, but like I'm sitting there fishing and I'm not getting anything, and I'm watching splashing coming up to the kayak. Like, all right. So
then there was the day out, fished you guys in the river. That was a good day.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That was recently too. Yeah. She just, and that, I think that was her first time, like, and Chase, you probably had that where it doesn't matter if you're in the lake or the river, there's just that day that no matter what you throw or where you throw it, they're biting. And that was her day. Like she wasn't just catching more fish, she was catching quality fish.
Yeah.
She was catching large smallmouth fish in there. And then like, it was a dink fest for the rest of us.
Yeah.
I think I pissed a couple of them off because they're on the bank. And I throw it and I'm like reeling in one after another. They're looking at me. I was like, what? How are you guys not? Because you guys are usually kicking my butt every time.
That wasn't you though. Find out more that like, and that was it was a bad day for me too. Like we all lost so many jigs, and mine, we were having knots come loose. We were having lines break. And leader lines, like it was just a terrible day for the 3 of us. And then she's out there just catching fish
on the same. Yeah. I used the same hook the entire trip.
Yeah, and she came around a bend, and then one of our friends was over there, and like he had just had enough of losing. He said he'd lost like a dozen different jig heads, and he just throwing his stuff around. And she thought he was like, no, I was like, he's not mad at you. He just. He's mad at the same thing I am, because like she was next to me and I was just like, I had a temper tantrum out there where I'm like, I'm catching a fish and I'm watching that fish swim by with my jig in its mouth and the leader line popped. I'm like,
Oh,
oh, and I'm like, I didn't even get to fight it. Like it was just that one. And I know people say retie after everything, but like this, it was just I was using a new line, which
oh.
what I was using before worked great for whatever
Yeah.
reason. Oh, I'm going to use this premium line. No, it
Yeah.
was not, and the my knots weren't taken, and I'm like, okay, like that's it. I told her, I was like, I am freaking done with this line. I'm taking it off as soon as, which I never did. I just took the whole reel off the rod. It's still sitting in the kayak. I was like, I'm done with this thing. And I went with a lighter weight braid. I went with an 8-pound braid. And normally I fish with a 10-pound braid on creek. I'll use like a high vis braid, and I'll have a fluoro leader. And man, that kills. I went with a lighter braid, and I'm thinking, okay, it's going to be more sensitive. It was a green, so it was a little bit of a murkier water, and overthinking. And yeah, it was not a good day. And then I just fished straight braid, and I was having that snap. Yep. And I was like, that was beyond me. Having an 8-pound braid snap on, decent fish, but nothing crazy. Like it's not like I'm, it's not like it's these monsters just or anything. So I was like, okay, I'm done.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
She's needing help getting a big fish off because she can't get the hook out. I'm like that one. Yeah, I was like,
that was the one.
It took me a while to get the hook out. Like she had it hooked really good, and it was just this big fish. I'm like, God.
At least you got to hold it for a minute.
Yeah, I know. I got the fishy smell, and I'm like, just. Oh.
Yeah. This is what fish smell like.
Yeah, this is what
it's
like.
Yeah, we have some videos there for a while. Well, Josh Lanham that's on here, he always gives us a hard time, or gives me a hard time, because she likes to outfish me, and that's, there's always jokes about, is Kayla handing you that fish for you to take a picture with it? Yes.
Nice.
We do little competitions, and I've lost the last few, so I'm probably losing my gang, but it's gonna change next time.
That would be interesting. That would be an interesting idea for a video, is having a competition. You know how like as dudes, if you're a sports fan, if your team loses, you got to wear the other team's jersey.
Yes.
That would be interesting to do. And you guys are more than welcome to do this. Like if you win or he wins, like the next video or next time out on the water, he's got to wear some kind of silly get up or something.
I gotta start winning before I do those ones again.
Well, yeah, but like little things like that, like put them in.
I told him I was pushing them in next time.
Yeah, put them like pink bunny ears. Do like the Christmas or something, like have some fun with it. I would see, but see, like I'm thinking that I would watch that.
Yeah,
making it fun, and that you guys seem to really enjoy each other on the water. That comes out in those videos, and that's why. And I can't speak for everybody here, but that's why I suspect a lot of people like watching those. Is there's thousands of people out there on a kayak with a GoPro just out there fishing, and so it's definitely We've got a 1v1 tourney going. Loser wears a pink tutu. But something like that. That's
Sean, it's got to be different than your normal wardrobe for it to be funny. Sorry.
Nice. Well, we're at an hour 16. Do you have anything? Well, so go ahead and like I said, those that don't already follow you guys on Southwest Indiana Outdoors on YouTube, on Facebook, on the Gram. You guys on Instagram, right?
Yep, we're on it all.
All right. Definitely give them a follow. Definitely appreciate you guys being on here. And again, it's always good to have the one-on-one interaction as opposed to Facebook Messenger and interacting with.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Enjoyed
super cool to get to talk to you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, anyways, guys, thank you so much for joining us here. Definitely congratulations to Steven Scott for winning the Nakwa gear.
Yes.
We'll do a video. I'll probably do a video where I kind of talk a little bit about the Nakwa and Yakutek thing. Obviously, I'm coming at it from a point of view where I'm not meant to bash one company, but I'm really wanting to lift one company up because to my knowledge, Yakutek hasn't done that yet, or
they haven't. I haven't seen them release it.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, and I've got the Yak Attack batteries, and it says powered by Naqua on them.
Yes.
And after seeing that, I'm like, I was telling her about this. I was like, see this right here? They're removing this and then just keeping the design.
Yes.
I have no problem with copycats. There's a difference between copycat and just taking a design. So
Yes.
Agreed.
that's kind of where I thought that line was crossed a little bit. And I kind of waited a little bit to talk about it because like I got kind of worked up and charged up over it when I first like saw that video. I'm like, yo, like that's like
Yep.
Walmart stealing from a local grocery store. Like it's just
Yep.
why do they even have to do that? And then after a while I kind of calmed down on it. I'm like, okay, well still like, you know, where in Yak Attack, I've seen them say nothing about it. So
Nothing at all. And I kind of wonder if it's because of the amount of pushback they got.
yeah, and I kind of wonder if they're actually going to go ahead with it. But quite frankly, the size of Yak Attack is they can make their own battery. Like I don't even see why they even have to do that. So it would be smart, in my opinion, and just public perception because they kind of took a hit anyway from the whole white labeling a different motor and making a kayak cushion and all that. Like they weren't stealing stuff, but they were kind of not innovative on that. And they're kind of the innovators of innovation, in my opinion, in the kayak industry. So, but again, I just react to this stuff. I don't make these decisions, but I get to choose. And again, that's not being sponsored. I get to choose who I can support because of that.
Right.
So I definitely choose Naqua. And again, they supported us with giving away this nice stuff. So anyways, guys, appreciate you guys tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one, guys.